Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. And welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen Motherfucking Podcast. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about the law of rhythm, right? This is law number 11. We got one more after this. And then, of course, the season's going to be done. But we got one more law after this, and we're going to continue on with the laws of the universe. First off, I know I ain't been consistent at all. I ain't been like on my shit like I'm supposed to. And for that, I apologize. I'm human. I've been really just dealing with my own self, trying to get back into my own rhythm, but the real rhythm that I'm supposed to be in. You feel me? So it's fitting that this episode, happens today. But I've been, I've been trying to get my page the way I need it, the way that I envision it in my head, like without a doubt, from everything, being able to link everything together, like experimenting, trying this, seeing what works, what don't work, what fucks up the algorithm, what keeps the algorithm strong, what makes my algorithm stay where it's supposed to be. There's just been a lot of shit that I've been, going through as far as getting that down. And I'm there. I'm there, as you probably seen from the time this episode started, but I needed that break. I needed to just get away. I've had too many rhythms going on at one time, but then even still, I just kind of got out of rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And I just needed to take away from everything. That's why like so frail conversations weren't coming. These were coming mainly because the 12 Laws of the Universe. This was a series. This was something I didn't have to think about to try to find something to talk about as far as content goes. So frail conversations just been taking a back seat. But when you got over 100 something episodes of so frail conversations, it's kind of like, nigga, what more can I say? You feel me? There's still a lot more to say, but I just I ain't had a rhythm to talk about it. But enough of that bullshit. That's why I ain't been where I'm supposed to be, and all of that. But like I said, it fits into the law of rhythm because the law of rhythm is about regularity, right? Specifically the regularity of the universe, right? The law of rhythm. Before I say that, let me say this. In So Frail 3, when I talked about the tree of life, when I got to like some of the final spheres, the final paths, and how some of them like restart, but they kind of conjoin other ones. And it's usually the 10th, 11th, the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Because you have what would be basically the page or the princess, basically the princess, the prince, the king, and the queen. So those 4 points are the first 9, or the first 8 laws, paths, or whatever the case may be, but they're, congested and compounded. So the law of polarity was one of those, but the law of rhythm is the second one. So the law of rhythm, though, it mainly combines the law of vibration and it combines the law of polarity into this duality. This is when the number 4, from a numerological standpoint, comes into heavy, right? 4 is foundation, but 4 is foundation based off of rhythm. So with rhythm being the regularity of the universe, and if we know vibration is basically the highs and the lows, the frequency, the cycles per unit of time, or whatever the case may be. Within those cycles a unit of time, you have 4 delineations of how that time is expressed. You feel what I'm saying? You have how I like to look at it is like, especially like when it comes to the seasons, because you have 4 seasons. The seasons create a rhythm which makes a year, right? But then you have a cold season, you have a hot season, you have 2 warm seasons. Now the warm seasons are kind of different, but they fall within the vibration. So if you have one cycle from start to end, you have start, low, you have start, trough, crest, and start again. And then that's what makes the cycle. Now, the law of rhythm gives the definition to those. And that's why I use hot, cold, warm, and warm with the two different expressions of warm. Because if you look at the seasons, you have winter, you have spring, you have summer, then you have fall. So winter's cold, spring is warm, summer's hot, fall is warm, and then you have cold again. Right. And even deeper, even if you look at it, and I'm using those seasons specifically because those numbers, those points of 4 make it a lot easier to get into. So when you're looking at spring is a vibrant time. A lot of the colors are a lot more popping. They're bright and vibrant. Fall is a little bit more dull. Not in the sense of, in a negative context of dull, but it's just the colors aren't as vibrant. They're more warm. They're warmer. You know what I'm saying? But it's still colorful. You dig what I'm saying? And of course, summer is hot as fuck because it's summertime and it's hot as fuck, bitch. Like, goddamn, like, nigga, why the fuck is it so hot? But summer's hot, then winter's cold, right? But these are rhythms. This is a rhythm. This is a regularity of a year. You feel me? You're going to get this consistently. No matter where you go, you're going to have cold, warm, hot, warm, cold. You feel me? And that's the cycle that is going to continually roll through. So when we look at the law of the universe, which is rhythm, our life, everything that we do, once we find regularity in it, it's going to move in a rhythm like that. So within rhythms, if we're using the 4 elements now, not just the seasons, but we're using the 4 elements of earth, fire, water, and earth. Within those, you have 2 combinations of the sides as they roll through. So earth and water make cold. Fire and earth make hot, or warm. And then air and fire make hot. And then air and water make cold. And then earth and water make wet. So you had, that's what it is. Earth and fire make dry, not warm. So you have within the 4 elements of air, fire, water, and earth, you have the four modalities of hot, cold, warm, hot, cold, wet, and dry. Right. So these basic foundations they pretty much codify the law of rhythm, from a metaphysical perspective. And we're going to go into heavy into that. And once this law is at play, once this law works, you're going to start to see what rhythm you're in. So previously we talked about the vibrations, correspondence and all of that shit. But all of that stuff leads up to when you're in a rhythm. All of these things are now factored in, the rhythm of, benefit, detriment, and everything like that. So now within this vibration, within this duality or whatever the case may be, that's why polarity is important, because you have a rhythm within a polarity. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have rhythm based off benefit. You have rhythm based off detriment, and you can get stuck in the loop. This is when people start talking about insanity, sanity, and all of these other different things. And that's where the law of rhythm is really, really important. You feel me? But my intro's kind of long because of my disclaimer at the beginning. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Damn, I ain't done this in so long, and it ain't even been that long. I just don't remember the flow. All right. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen It All. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And as always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes. That's that for this, and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into rhythm. We're going to dive into rhythm, the music of the universe. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the Soul For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. Ow. And without further ado, we're going to dive straight heavy into this motherfucker. So, rhythm. First, let's go ahead and set the foundation and the groundwork of what rhythm is. So, a rhythm is going to basically be a series of cycles and a series of seasons, but specifically a series of cycles. So, if the vibration is the cycle itself, the rhythm is the series of those cycles. You feel me? So, whatever vibration you can be stuck on, now you're going to build into the rhythm of how that vibration plays out, the series of that vibration. So basically, it's like hertz squared almost, or it's like cycle squared, or, a doubled version of it. It's like addition. The vibration will be addition, and rhythm will be multiplication. You feel me? Multiplication is basically just the counting the quantities of a series. You feel me? It's the number of series that you have, right? I was seeing this post, and the dude was like, they've been lying to us. They have been lying to us, but not about this. But he was like, if 3 times 0, how does 3 times 0 equal 0 if you have 3? Because it's not just about the number, it's about the sets of that number. If you have 0, if you have none, 0 of 3 sets, you're only going to have no sets because there's 0 there. It doesn't matter. He was like, if 3 comes first, then that means that no. It doesn't matter. If you flip 0 first, it doesn't matter. It's asking you what multiplication is asking you is how many sets of this number do you have? You feel what I'm saying? You have 2 sets of 3. That's a total of 6. You have 3 sets of 3. That's a total of 9. You feel what I'm saying? That's what multiplication is. How many sets do you have? But addition, on the other hand, is how many singles do you have? Addition only works with 1 set. That's why it's more likened to vibration, and multiplication is more likened to rhythm, because it's how many sets do you have of this particular thing. You feel what I'm saying? So when we're considering rhythm, and I'm glad how I ended the intro like this when I was talking about music, right? The law of rhythm is pretty much going to, and tying it to the polarity, is going to give you 2 delineations, noise and music. Music and noise are the same shit. Music is just structured noise. Noise is unstructured music. You feel what I'm saying? It's not until a rhythm is set and it becomes consistent that noise becomes music. Even if you have a whole bunch of chaotic noise, if there's a rhythm in place, it can become music, and you can find something of quality in a motherfucker. Case in point, children. If you get a bunch of pots and pans and you just put them out on the floor and let a kid bang on them, it's noise. This child is making noise until a rhythm is made. Once there's a rhythm, like if you're just beating on a pot, plang, 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 plang. It's noise until it becomes plang, 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 plang. That's when it becomes rhythm, because the sets that fall into that pocket are now being codified consistently. There's a vibration of the vibration. You feel what I'm saying? When we look at how the universe plays out with the law of rhythm, there's a set regularity that emerges from everything. You feel me? Some people call it habits. Some people call it routine. Some people call it schedules. Some people call it whatever the fuck they want to call it. But it's the law of rhythm, and it's always at play. And I had to go in and tell motherfuckers, hey, we have, this is how they got us with the laws of the universe. One of the first and most important things that's still into effect today, that's been in effect for the last 100 years or so, 100 plus years, is the 9 to 5. This by no means is going to be a shameless plug or encouragement to, hey, be an entrepreneur. Nah, I ain't even on that type time, but not yet. But I want to talk about that from this perspective, because the law of rhythm is at play with a 9 to 5. The moment you get a job, you're in a rhythm. There's a rhythm of things. When I used to work in account management, right? They, when we first became account managers, they told us, all right, these are the sequence of things that have to be done every single day. So the best way to do it is to get in rhythm. They called them our rhythms, or whatever the case may be. When I was at, well, it didn't matter where I was at. When I was with the Residence Inn, when I was with the Courtyard Marriott, when I was with the Lowe's, whatever, my rhythms were, I go to work. As soon as I get there, I go straight into the hotel. I get the nightly report from all of the transactions or whatever. Then I come back into the office. I break down all of the numbers. I plug them into our format, our chart, see if we was plus or minus. I see where we can make up things for the next day to cover up, blah, blah, blah. I had a rhythm that I had to do every single day, right? Which means that I had to be scheduled to work a specific time every single day. And I had to work this specific time every single day to make sure that my rhythm stayed on point. So by the time my district manager, he needed all of the revenue reports at a specific time. All of this shit was already in motion. There was a rhythm of regularity. There was a law at place. They used the 9 to 5, right, to synchronize all humans on the same time. Right? Now, 9 to 5 started first. And then, of course, with more productivity, with more shifts and shit, and you have first shift. There was a time when there was only first shift. You didn't work the second shift. There wasn't even an overnight or a night shift yet, but there was only the 9 to 5. This 9 to 5 was, it began with the rhythm of, we need 8 hours of your time, because it now has to move with the rhythms of the universe, right? We're dividing this 24-hour pocket into 8-hour intervals. 3 of them you're going to sleep. Well, 1 of them you're going to sleep. 1 of them you're going to work. 1 of them you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. So you think. Because within that 1 hour, one that is supposed to be for you, you now have to drive, you have to get food, you have to do, there's things like, there's not much time for you. Then if you have kids, like I said, within that rhythm of a 24-hour pocket, you're probably going to get about 3 to 4 hours to yourself. Then once you get in a relationship and all of this other shit, you have no time for yourself. This is why a lot of men isolate and sit in the bathroom. Hey, yo, it's funny as shit, because they be like, why men spend so much time in the bathroom? That's the only time I can get away from y'all motherfuckers without y'all calling me, because you think I'm shitting. You feel me? So that's they call the shit the porcelain throne. That's where my kingdom is going to be. That was just a little random tidbit. It ain't got shit to do with shit. I just felt like saying that. But with time, that's where that plays out. You feel me? So the 9 to 5 is how they use the law of rhythm. One of the ways in which they use the law of rhythm, right? And as, you know, money started to increase and people started, you know, population started to increase, and they started changing shifts. So then now they extended the time. Most businesses were only open from 9 to 5, period. Right. And then they started to extend it to 10. There was a time, even TV didn't stay on 24 hours. My nigga, TV did not even stay on 24 hours. Like, this shit would go out. You'll see the American flag from 10 to 6. Like, nigga, that's what it was. That's when you know it was time to go to sleep. Then it started to change because motherfuckers was up a little later. Then you started seeing MASH at 10 o'clock. Now we're in a fucking space where the TV does not turn off. We're in a space where TV does not turn off. But even deeper than that, we're in a space where you can stream at any time within any time that you're in. Right? Streaming does a whole different thing to rhythm, but it fucks with you. You feel me? Because the 9 to 5, it is in conjunction with circadian rhythms. Right? We know you're up at this particular time, and we know that this is when you're most beneficial to the world. So we're going to make sure your vitality within the natural rhythm of the universe is going to automatically align with our businesses and the shit that we need to do. So like I said, they started with the 9 to 5, then they went on from the 9 to 5, and then they created 3 to 10, and then you went from 10 to 6, right? Like, think of like all 24 hours are accounted for, except for 2. That's a 6 to 8, right? But even that has begun to get like, I'm going to get my 8 hours, but I'm going to schedule. When I used to work in an account management, I had my team scheduled throughout the day to get their 8 hours, but to not conflict with each other's 8 hours. You feel what I'm saying? So I'll have some people come in, 7:30 to 3. Then I will have some people come in 10 to 6. Then I would have some come in 3 to 10. Then I would have another set probably come in from the 3 to 10 was just what it was. I didn't have a miss with shift. And then I had my overnight that came in from 10 to 6 or 10 to 7, right? Or 11 to 7, some shit like that. I don't quite remember all of it, but I had a rhythm. Because everybody naturally has a rhythm. You feel me? It's called a circadian rhythm for a reason. But it's the circadian rhythm. People think that it's more so, your sleep patterns. Mm-mm. The circadian rhythm isn't limited to eight hours. The circadian rhythm is directly connected to the pulse of the universe, the pulse of the earth, right? You sleep when the earth sleeps. You wake up when the earth wakes up. You play when the earth plays. You feel me? You move in alignment with how the earth works. You feel me? Knowing that they capitalized on it with a capitalistic society by making sure that the law of rhythm was always in play, but now we can plug and play humans into this law of rhythm. When I tell people that the universe, not the universe, when I tell people that the US dollar is backed by humans, is backed by the health of the people, it's a little bit deeper, but I'm sticking to that because I did say it and I stand on it. It is backed by the health of the people, but specifically is backed by keeping the health of the people in a specific rhythm. You feel what I'm saying? Now we can segue a little bit into more of the medical side. When you look at people, puberty is a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? The development of the frontal lobe is a rhythm. Midlife crises, rebellious teenage phases, those are all rhythms. You feel me? Memory checks for breast cancer, rhythms. Prostate checks, rhythms. You feel me? By a specific time, they understand so well that we know what to do to your body to make it respond in a certain rhythm. So that way we can continually profit off of you. I don't think people understand the true value of a human, of a being. I don't think people truly understand the value of a being. And because they don't, anybody can put a price on the value of the being with a salary. You feel me? Now, with the education or whatever the case may be, you can be plugged into a more profitable rhythm. You feel what I'm saying? You can be aligned and put into a more profitable rhythm by, quote unquote, the more education you have, because there's another set of rhythms that you have. I don't think people understand the significance of why we move through schools in certain pockets. High school's 4 years, college, 4 years. You feel me? Master's degree 2, PhD 2, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, still 4. But you move in cycles, in rhythms. You feel what I'm saying? Because we give you the introductory. To bring you full circle, you have to get caught up in the rhythm, or whatever the case may be. So they make sure that the human, they're going to squeeze every ounce of money they can out of this human. Now, 2 humans can come together and give us 3 more. Those 3 humans can meet with another set of 3 humans and give us, let's just say 3 for each family. What's that? 18? Because let's say one family creates 3 people, right? Those 3 people all get married and they create their own family. That's now 3 families of 3. Multiplication shit. So, so that's 9, right? That's 9 new humans. And then it starts to move at an exponential rate. You feel me? The law of rhythm is to move from, this ties into mathematics in a way. It moves from the addition to the multiplication to the exponents. All of it is still mathematics, but it's different variations of it based off of the rhythm. And as the rhythm starts to move, now it moves into a cycle. They have what's called the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence breaks things down into the number 9 or whatever the case may be within, quote unquote, spirals. This is when you get the vibration of a cycle that can either go up or down. But a rhythm is powerful because it goes up and down. It's not or. The rhythms are the spirals that go up and down. So when you have the vibration that moves in a cycle, right? Now, when you get into the correspondence and you get into the attraction and you get into all of the other laws that can make it move in its direction, the rhythm encompasses all the directions in which it can move. So within the rhythm, you're going to have a start. You're going to have a spiral up. You're going to have a spiral down. You're going to come back to the start. And you're going to keep moving in these ways, right? So simultaneously, your life is going to have a balance of benefit and detriment, but it's going to have a rhythm of it. It's going to be a regularity. You feel what I'm saying? So with that said, we're going to dabble into a little bit of astrology and numerology, right? In numerology, you have what's called a life cycle. It's literally the first 28 years of your life. It's every 28 years you get a cycle. Astrology, you have the Saturn return. Roughly about the same amount of time as 29 years instead of 28. But in addition to that, each one of these pieces has a 4-piece movement, right? Excuse me. That is designed to bring you full circle. Now, within the full circle, this is when you not only get the circle, you get the sphere, right? It becomes 3D now because now you have dimensions to it. So if we're considering the law of rhythm, and we're considering the law of rhythm from the law's perspective, everything we have has to be high, low, up, down, in and out, back and forth. That's what makes it 3-dimensional. You feel me? Has 3 different fucking dimensions. Nigga, it's that simple, but it's that complex. They use this law in order to make sure humans are on the same page in the same book at all times. Anybody who's between the ages of 14 to 18, they're in a specific rhythm. From 18 to 25, they're in a specific rhythm. From 25 to 30, they're in a specific rhythm. From 30 to 40, specific rhythm. 40 to 50, specific rhythm. This is why there's names for these particular groups. Once you cross 55, you're considered a senior. You feel what I'm saying? Once you're 18, up until you're 18, you're considered a child. From 18 to 50, you're an adult, young adult, whatever, however you're going to look at it. But there's a rhythm that you're going to stay in. And these rhythms that they make you stay in are solely so they can profit off of you. When people feel like slavery stopped, they are in denial to the rhythm because nobody has chains. You don't need chains anymore where you can put people in debt. You feel me? You don't need whips anymore. You don't need to physically fuck with somebody when you can mentally do it. But you do it according to classes, right? Classes move in a specific rhythm. You feel me? They programmed us to be on the exact rhythm they need us to be on at all times so they can always monitor us and know what the fuck is going on. The government, the word government means control of the mind. If I control your mind, I ain't gonna say control. If I control your mind, I dictate your actions. If I control how you think, I can determine what I need you to do. I can make you do what I need you to do. Then I put police in place just in case you don't. Like, people be looking at like police as what is a police officer? What is police supposed to be? It's to make sure policy stays in place. Policy is to make sure humans move within a specific rhythm at all times. From the stoplight, everything is moved in a rhythm. You feel what I'm saying? It's a rhythm, and the rhythm works well. When the rhythm is in point, you're going to quote unquote get music, or you're going to get fluidity. When the rhythm is off, you're going to get noise, or you're going to get rigidity. Right? Shit is going to start being complex. It's going to be too hard to flow. You're going to get blockages and shit. But the universe has to move this way. You feel me? They call it the ebb and flow. They call it the different variations of so much shit. But it's to the core, the law of rhythm. And it will always be at play. So taking it back to what I was talking about with, the healthcare system and things of that nature and all of this shit, like, this shit works because we're going to profit off of the health of these motherfuckers, bro. But we're going to make sure they're in a rhythm that their health is in our hands. We're going to make sure they eat a certain way at a certain time because we understand that with time and with rhythm, eventually you will align with this particular disease or you're aligned with this particular symptom. If you notice, there's a set box of sicknesses that people have. And that can only transpire if all of the humans are operating the same way. You feel me? I was talking about this. I don't remember which episode it was, but I mentioned it because I was having a conversation with somebody and we were talking about, this is hereditary. It's not. Hereditary doesn't exist. Like, they tell you that something is in your family. No, it's in the law rhythm. That's not necessarily hereditary. You feel me? And they were trying to argue me until I put one point in it that they couldn't refute and they couldn't process it well, because now it fucked with them, because everything that they thought they knew that they had been told was completely shattered in this one phrase. I said, if it was really hereditary, then people that are unrelated couldn't have the same disease. Fucked them all up. Because I'm like, then I started going into it. I said, why do you think we buy pink shit in October? Oh, it's for Breast Cancer Awareness Month because my mother and their mother and it's like this, but your mothers are not related. Your mothers are not related. So what is all of this research for? There's no need to research to solve breast cancer. That's just the illusion to make it to so you can not see the fact that there's a rhythm in place that makes breast cancer possible for all people. It's one thing when you're only on a frequency and a vibration that only makes you focus on yourself. And it's wild because the first rule of nature is self-preservation, but they created an egotistical and a narcissistic world that doesn't allow us to see beyond our own selves. So when we think that we're getting breast cancer and shit, oh, it's because it came from, my mama had it, my grandma had it, my great grandma had it, right? But how do people that are not related have it? Not only that, how do people who have different genetics still have it? Like, breast cancer is universal. The time to start checking for breast cancer is, about 45 to 55. You want to get your mammaries checked and everything like that. But how are different genetics, different relative, like people are completely unrelated for hereditary disease? I'm doing a dramatic pause with that so you can really sit and think about that. How can something be hereditary if unrelated people that are not in the same bloodline can get the same disease the same way at the same time? It's the law of rhythm. Same with prostate cancer. Men, you want to start getting your prostate, they just want to stick their finger in your butt. But there's other ways to test for the prostate that ain't got to be so intrusive. But whatever. You know what I'm saying? Pause. All right, I'm gonna get serious. Let me get serious. Center. But by 55, they say, yo, men, you're going to have prostate cancer. Did a man in your family have prostate cancer? Yeah, that means it's hereditary. No, there's a rhythm in place in which that man in your family lived the exact same life that you're replicating. I get it. You went on, I majored in a different school program. I went to a different school. I did this and the third. I don't live the same way my dad did. He don't live the same way his dad did. Blah, 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 fucking blah. How do you end up going down the exact same path to get to the same result, get to the same destination? Again, it's hereditary, but it can't be hereditary if unrelated people can get it. Something that would be considered hereditary will be sickle cell. You can understand and see sickle cell is hereditary. White people can't get sickle cell. Asian people can't get sickle cell. And the reason why I'm using white and Asian only because there's three races of people, Africoid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid. But black people can get sickle cell. White people, they call it, they say it's Jewish, whatever. It's Caucasoid, it's Caucasoid genetics. It's Caucasian, the Caucasoid genetic line, right? Can get Tay-Sachs. Black people can't get Tay-Sachs. Asian people don't get Tay-Sachs. There's an Asian specific disease. I just can't think about it right now, off the top of the head. But those will be considered hereditary. Those will be considered hereditary. If all the genetics can get it, then that's not hereditary. That means that something is being manipulated. There is a specific rhythm to make sure this happens. You feel me? You even have genetic diseases that are maternal linked. You feel me? X chromosome genetics or whatever the case may be, diseases or whatever. That means that it literally can only come from a woman. Doesn't mean it only comes from the mother. It can only come from a woman. You feel me? But there's a broad expression of all of this shit. And these motherfuckers sat down to make sure that this could work this way. But People don't understand. They think that when they sat down, they just use the sciences or whatever the case. No, they use the law of rhythm to say, if we feed them a certain way, this is why it's called the food guide pyramid. I'm guiding you into the exact rhythm I need you to be in. For breakfast, you're going to eat this. For lunch, you're going to eat this. For dinner, you're going to eat this. So much so that you don't realize, and it doesn't register to a lot of people, how you can eat anything at any given time. But motherfuckers will tell you, oh, nah, this is specifically breakfast food. Why? Why is this specifically dinner? Why is this specifically lunch? Doesn't matter as long as you eat, motherfucker. Like, but you eat when you're hungry. Motherfuckers don't even be hungry half the time, they be eating. But you're wired to be on a rhythm to eat 3 times a day. Study the history of the 3 square meals. That's something new. And when I say new, I mean in the context of the world. That started in about the 1700s. Eating 3 square meals a day. Motherfuckers only ate when they were hungry. So now if you go to the rhythms, if you go back to the rhythms of the universe, right? You have 8 pockets of when you're supposed to. You have digestion, and you have a digestion, assimilation. Or you have assimilation, digestion, and then like consumption or some shit like that. But it's basically 3 breakdowns. The best bit of information that I can give you to find is read the African. What is the name of it? It's not African nutrition. It's not African diet or something like that. It's by Dr. Laila Africa, right? It's his book on the all of his books are phenomenal, but this specific one on the African diet or whatever the case may be, it breaks down this rhythm that your body's supposed to operate on between 8 a.m. No, because it's 8-hour pocket. So between 2 a.m. and 12 p.m. you are in a digestive and you're in an excretion phase. From 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. you are in an assimilation phase. No. You're in the digestion phase. My bad. That's when you're supposed to be eating. Your body is built to digest. And then from 8 p.m. until 2, because would that be 8 hours? Let me get my math right. 12 to 8, then 8 to 4, and then 4 to 12. That's what it is. 4 to 12, 12 to 8, 8 to 4. Right? That's when your body is in a space. So 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. is assimilation. That's when you're supposed to do all of your eating. It's digestion. From 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., that's assimilation. That's when your body is doing everything it's supposed to do with the nutrients. Digesting them, breaking them down, put them in the right spaces or whatever the case may be. Then from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., that's excretion. That's when your body is preparing to let everything out. That's why you take a morning shit. You feel me? Some motherfuckers is constipated, they don't take a morning shit. That ain't got shit to do with me, but whatever. But that's the natural rhythm that nature gives our bodies, right? Within this natural rhythm, what do? They make us eat when we're not supposed to be eating, right? We eat 3 times a day. Now, I'm not saying don't eat 3 times a day if that's what you do, but at the same time, half of it is drugs. You haven't eaten food in a long time. This is why you have the Food and Drug Administration. Why the fuck are drugs and food being placed together if they're not one and the same? They're one and the same, and the administration of them is documented according to, okay, we need this specific result. You feel what I'm saying? So now you eat first thing in the morning when your body's supposed to be excreting. Right? Then you're going to eat again now that it's lunchtime, 12 to 2. That's when most motherfuckers go on their lunch breaks and shit. But now when you're eating, your body is now in a digestion phase where now, okay, I have to start on what you put in here this morning that you weren't supposed to be eating anyway. But I got to start there. So the food now that you're eating, I'm going to save that to digest for later. So then from 8 to 4 in the morning, that's when the assimilation happens. We're now starting to put shit. What if you're not eating nutrients? Now your body starts going through a different process because it's like, I'm not getting shit. Now, everything that I'm digesting, which is now metabolism, which now divides into catabolism, and anabolism. Catabolism is the breakdown. Anabolism is the buildup of the nutrients. I didn't finish breaking down from breakfast, because now you eat multiple things that don't go together. So in Hitting It Raw, when I talk about food combining, there's a right way to eat right. Most motherfuckers don't combine their food correctly. Every food that we eat on a regular basis is not combined properly. Case in point, protein and starches are not to be digested together. The body's going to choose one over the other. Every food, damn near every meal that we have, puts protein and starch together. Whether you're eating a sausage biscuit for breakfast, you're eating a hamburger, a chicken sandwich, whatever the case may be, they put bread with every fucking thing. Do you know why that is the case? They put bread with everything because now we're putting you in a rhythm where your body can't digest one of these things. It's going to choose to digest one. And as it digests one, it's going to leave the other. To what? Decay in your intestines. So what does that do? Oh, it develops cancer. You're in a rhythm for this. Oh, but remember, it's hereditary. Not this habit, not this cycle that we make y'all motherfuckers eat to, that your parents ate to, that their parents ate to, that you're going to continue to eat to, that you're not working off. And it's going to keep getting worse. So now we know by a specific time, because of this rhythm, by a specific time, these results are going to happen. You feel me? There's no way in hell. Like, you got to think about the psychology of this shit. America is the most unhealthy country in the world, but it has the opportunity to be the most fit. There's a gym every fucking where. How in the fuck are motherfuckers out of shape? Well, because you got to pay for gym membership. Nigga, being physical does not require money. You just got to get out and move. But even the movement doesn't do anything, because what they do is they teach you how to move in accordance with fight or flight response. Everybody says, oh, we're in survival. No, you're not just in survival mode. You're in a rhythm to always be using your fight or flight response of your nervous system, not your rest and digest. So tying it back to the circadian rhythms and the rhythm that your body naturally digests food between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. You feel me? You're not digesting shit because you're in a fight or flight response. You are not in a parasympathetic mode. You are in a sympathetic mode at all times. Why? Because mentally we're going to put you in a sympathetic mode, because we know sympathetic mode does not digest food. Parasympathetic mode does. So if I always have you in survival mode, that's what we're going to call it, you're not going to understand the science and the methodology behind the fact that you're in your sympathetic state of your nervous system, which means you're in fight or flight response. The reason why I use that is because they teach us to work out in such a way that our minds perceive that we are in fight or flight response. How many workouts have you ever done in your life that put you in a parasympathetic mode? Or did you even know that there was a difference? What are the reactions? What is the reaction that happens when you're in sympathetic mode? Fight or flight response. Vessels constrict, heart rate increases, breaths are shallower. When do these moments happen? When you're running? Oh, get your cardio up. Go run a mile. The whole time you're running, your nervous system says, we're in fight or flight response. What the fuck are we running for? Oh, it's to get your cardio up. Like, why? Because now what that does is it speeds up the process of all the other shit that's going through your body. Because when your blood starts to flow faster, the nutrients and the toxins now move faster through your bloodstream. How can we guarantee that? Well, for one, we can just put you in sympathetic mode. And two, now we're going to tell you that to be in shape, the rhythm of being in shape means that you are at a space where you are in fight or flight response. But now we're going to say you go to the gym and rather than fighting, you flee. Think about all physical activity. Think about all sports. Think about you're in fight or flight response. Now, the sports aspect of it is when you're fighting. Now, people think fighting is just physical. I'm punching motherfuckers in the face. Now, it ain't just got to be boxing. Look at how aggressive and how much anger is used and how much of the fight or flight response is used in sports. That competitor's edge. Nigga, y'all niggas trying to survive. That's what winning is. Winning is surviving. You feel me? You in the clutch. You this, that, and the third. Winning is surviving. You feel me? But at the same time, on a bigger scale, it starts to damage you because it speeds up the heat of the body, increasing your body temperature, sweating, all of these different things. Oh yeah, you got to sweat to release toxins or whatever the case may be. Why are you in fight or flight response? Why is nobody asking that question? We think it's just from the mental perspective of having to pay your bills and doing all of this stuff. Yeah, that's true. But biologically, they've already shifted you into fight or flight response. They do it with the TV. They do it with the media. They do it with the radio. They do it with all of these different things to make sure that no matter what it is, you will remain in fight or flight response. Even when you go to sleep, you won't be rested because you're sleeping in fight or flight response. So much so, if you grew up in a culture like I grew up, you feel me? Which is, melanated culture and shit. Your parents can go to sleep with the TV on. Knock the fuck out, snoring. I'm going to show you the effects and how powerful the sympathetic mode really is and the sympathetic side of the nervous system is and why it's a rhythm. Motherfuckers be on the couch, knock the fuck out. You can turn the TV off or you can change the channel and they wake up instantly. They feel the shift. How sensitive does your nervous system have to be to see a subtle change like that? Babies are not in fight or flight response initially. This is why they can sleep through damn near anything, because they are actually in rest and digest phase. It's not until some people get so tired that they sleep deeply. You feel me? That's why, like, when people go on vacations and shit, this is why they want you to plan a vacation for multiple weeks. Like when most motherfuckers go on vacation, especially when they get older, they sleep. It's like, nigga, you here to have fun and shit. I'm sleeping. This is the first time I'm able to sleep without any worry about being in sympathetic mode. How many vacations? Now let's look at that shit from a rhythm. You work 52 weeks out of a year and you get 2 weeks of PTO. 2 weeks PTO. Just so I can work with more simpler numbers, right? We're still going to use 2 weeks, but we'll drop that down to 50. 50 out of 100, right? Just so we can have percentages, right? That will mean that you have 4% of your year is to rest. 4% of your fucking year is designed for you to rest. 96% of your year is designed for you to work. You're not a slave? That's not slavery? That's not slavery, my nigga. That's why they convince you, oh, find something you'll love. You'll never work a day in your life. That's bullshit. You're going to give up in a year 96% of your time. 96% of your year is designed to work. 4% to rest. There should damn near be a 1-to-1 connection between how much you rest and how much you work. If you work out, right? And I just seen this post, I'm going to tie this to this. But if you work out, right, you can't work out consistently 7 days a week. You know why? Because you need recovery time. You feel me? When you work out for the first time, right, in a long period of time and your body and your muscles sore, how long does it take you to recover? You work out that first day, it takes you 3 days to not be sore again. But they teach you, oh, just work through the soreness. We can get back to the sympathetic mode, but they tell you just to work through the soreness. Pain, and pain receptors are your body's indication that you are in danger. When you are in danger, what does that supposed to trigger? Your fight or flight response. This is not me by no means telling you, hey, nigga, don't go work out, bro. Stay out the gym and all that shit. No, keep your body in physical peak shape. But learn how to work out from a parasympathetic mode where you're actually resting too. This is why I always talk about muscle ringing. This is why I always talk about muscle ringing. You have to wring the muscles out. You feel me? I'm going to get deeper into it. You feel me? But this is the law of rhythm. This is a rhythm that we on. And I know it seems like I'm not really talking about rhythms. So just fuck with me. We'll get to there. We'll get there. Got a lot of time left, baby. You're in a space where your body is always perceiving yourself to be in danger. That's what the purpose of fight or flight response is. So when they tell you you're in survival mode, they tell you you're in fight or flight response. Now, what are some of the most common symptoms common diseases in the world? Hypertension. What is hypertension? High blood pressure. Why is blood pressure high? Because the vessels of the vessels of the arteries and the veins and the vessels of the arteries constrict. They don't dilate. That means they come closer together, which means the blood has to flow faster. So now when I give you a diet, this is why cholesterol is important. So when I give you a diet, for one, it's quote unquote low fat or whatever the case may be. But when I give you a diet and I tell you to eat foods, and the foods that you eat have fat that clog your arteries, what do you think happens to that blood flow? This is why I always tell people, make sure every single day you consume what? Liquid lipids, unsaturated fats, because they have to be in liquid form when they go into your body to make sure that they erode the other fats that are clogged in it. Because if you can't shift your body to out of fight or flight response, then you're going to have to make sure there are no blockages in your blood flow, because you can't stop the vessels from constricting. Now, when the vessels are constricting and then they say, oh yeah, you got a blood clot or whatever the case may be. What makes blood clot? Exposure to oxygen. So when there's a blockage in something and the blood isn't moving, now you still have oxygen that runs through. Now the oxygen is going to start to clot. Now we can give you a surgery. Now we can fuck with you. But now we are making sure that your body, it's just going to happen faster because you're in shape. So you think. Now you're learning how, by working out through the exercise plans that they give you, you're learning how to function in sympathetic mode. Sympathetic mode is not something you should be functioning in for a long period of time. But you do it for 96% of your fucking year. And you allow it to rest for 4% of the fucking year. You've done that for 40 fucking years. Now, again, I'm going to round up just for whole numbers and percentages, right? 50 years. Out of that 50 fucking years, 4 years were all you had to rest. If you were able to, but for 4 years is how you had to rest. This is a rhythm, my nigga. It's deeper than vibration. It's beyond vibration. There's a rhythm we need you on to make sure your body is moving in a certain way, the way we want it to, because we are going to be the ones that take care of you. We are going to be the ones that but we're not going to tell you that it's because you're in sympathetic mode. We're not going to tell you that you've been trying to survive all of your life. We're not going to tell you that you've been in fight or flight response. And now, because you're in fight or flight response, we're going to make it taboo to fight. Don't fight for anything. When this response is on, keep fleeing. Keep fleeing. Why do you think running is cardio? They encourage it. Go run marathons, go do all of this, because we want you to extend the threshold. Don't eliminate the stress. Extend the threshold to which stress can fuck with you. Now motherfuckers is like, why are your stress levels high? We're in fight or flight response, nigga. That's what stress is supposed to be paired with. Stress is literally supposed to be paired with the fight or flight response. This is why they always talk about cortisol. You feel me? You have high levels of cortisol. Bitch, what are you doing to alleviate stress? Nothing can alleviate stress when you're in the rhythm that puts you in a sympathetic mode. It's an illusion, my nigga. It's a game. It's a scam. Motherfuckers be talking about pyramid scheme. This is the biggest pyramid scheme in the world. Because it ain't just America that does it. It's everybody. Everybody's on this same timeline. Everybody's on the same timeline. So they tell you, oh, now eat healthy, but still eat what we tell you to eat because we need to be able to diagnose you when shit goes wrong. If you're not eating anything that aligns with if you're not eating anything that aligns with the system that we have made to make you in sympathetic mode, then when something goes wrong, we can't tell you what's wrong. This is all cause and effect. We know the causes. So now when the effect shows itself because the rhythm has been put in place to make sure that you continually exhibit the causes, thinking is lifestyle. This rhythm is going to continue to be at play. So now when I was talking about how rhythm has the benefit and the detriment, the good and the bad, I'm going to use chicken. Not because I'm black, bitch. The fuck? But I'm using chicken because of I want you to see a rhythm at play and show that it still uses the same thing, but it have a spiral up and a spiral down. You either have fried chicken or you have grilled chicken. And motherfuckers think, oh, fried chicken is the unhealthy chicken. Grilled chicken means that it's healthy. Nigga, the chicken is bad. It doesn't matter whether it's fried or good, fried or grilled. The chicken itself is still doing the same thing. Grilled chicken just does it slower than fried. Do you know why? Because the oils. Grilled chicken cooks the fat off. The George Foreman grill is the fat grilling machine. That's what they call the motherfucker, right? It cooks the fat off. It doesn't eliminate the fat. It cooks off some of the fat. However, fried chicken keeps the fat in the chicken. Now, when you take this oil, these fats, these lipids that have now been transformed and they are nowhere near the body's temperature anymore. They have been transformed. They are now trans fats. Anything trans means that it has been changed into something different. I'm doing a dramatic pause with that so y'all can catch up, see what I'm talking about. But anything that's trans that goes into the body is not in its original form. Your body's not even supposed to be taking that in. So when your body takes it in, it takes in a fat that is not a fat it can digest. Where do you think it's going to sit? It's going to start to line your arteries. But they're going to give it a special name. They're going to call it plaques. This is plaque. It's plaque in your arteries. This is plaque. Plaque even forms on your teeth. You feel me? But they're not going to tell you that plaque comes from solidified oil. Oil that is solidifying. Here's a dope point. Teeth. When teeth start turning yellow, right? When they start yellowing and shit, and then you have plaques associated with that yellowing. What color is adipose tissue? Now, what is adipose tissue? Fat, nigga. But what is fat? Another name for lipids. It's solid lipids. It's yellow. It's yellow. The shit be right there. But again, they play so many word games and so many semantics that you don't even understand what it is. You have to go through the buffer of the person who was quote unquote educated in the shit to tell you this problem rather than them just come out and tell you the problem. Because there's a rhythm that we cannot fuck up. There's a song being played. And we don't want you to know the rhythm to the song to change the beat. Don't make a remix to the shit. You better not. The fuck? Because you make a remix to the shit, now we can't do shit with you. They don't want you using herbs and going plant-based and things of that nature because you fuck up there is no rhythm for a healthy motherfucker, bro. This is crazy. You have a healthcare system that people are paying so much money into and nobody's getting healthy. That means something is wrong to where there's no health. Healthy motherfuckers don't need a healthcare system. So when they're convincing you, oh yeah, you're healthy. No, you're just doing the best with your sympathetic mode. You're doing best in this state of fight or flight response. Now you have children that develop, you got ADHD, you have ADD, you this, that. All of those are responses to sympathetic mode. I'm in fight or flight response. Now I'm escaping. Escapism. What do you think escapism stems from? What are you trying to do when you're escaping? Flee. Flee from what? A world you can't flee from? Wow. So now I got to escape. But in escapism, what I'm trying to do, what my body is trying to do through escapism is to shift myself into parasympathetic mode so I can start to rest and digest. All you keep hearing is get into the markets. But do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, Forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, Forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? There was a time, see, I'm fortunate enough to have smoked weed when weed was weed. When weed didn't do shit but make you happy, hungry, and sleepy. Why? Weed puts you in parasympathetic mode. Now, they give you all of the negative connotations and shit. Oh, marijuana's bad. Marijuana is wrong. Marijuana, it clouds your brain. It takes you, it makes you not pay attention. It makes you rest and digest. It puts you in parasympathetic mode. Your body your body naturally has to have a moment of nothingness if it's always doing everything. The fuck? Weed ain't even the same no more. Weed don't do none of that shit no more. When I stopped smoking weed for real, you feel me? I say, because I still periodically smoke. Like, if I'm with my brother and we haven't seen each other in a long time, that's our bonding time. Nigga, roll up. Nigga, I'll smoke with you, bro. But the weed don't make us hungry no more. It don't make us happy. It don't make us laugh and giggle. It just makes our eyes low and then that's it. It weighs your body down. It doesn't put you in the same parasympathetic mode anymore. It just keeps you from feeling the sympathetic mode. They've done something to it. But when they tell you the symptoms, oh, weed is this, that, and the third, nigga, that's smoke inhalation. Go into a burning building and take a deep breath. You'll get the exact same effects that you get from smoking weed. Exact same effects. But it's the cannabinoid that has the healing aspect to it. They don't give you weed no more, bro. This ain't the same shit. When I used to smoke weed when I was a kid, man, shit. I was like 13, 14 and shit. We used to smoke regular weed. And then I remember, I smoked my first joint when I was 11, right? Giggling, like straight giggling, like I couldn't stop. Then I started smoking blunts when I was like 13, between 13 and 14. And it still had seeds. I remember when I used to roll up, we used to pick out the seeds and stems. That shit ain't got none of that no more. It ain't got none of that no more. The shit be sticky. I remember the shit used to be just loose and leafy and shit. You smoke that motherfucker, it's the Reggie. You feel me? Now, niggas, I don't like Reggie. You better get to learning and liking Reggie again. Reggie is cool. When I went to Dominica, I smoked some real weed for the first time in a long time. Like, I wasn't smoking loud. I wasn't smoking kush. I wasn't smoking all that other shit because those are the things that I gradually developed into. By college, I was smoking some shit that had me stuck, nigga. I was like, why ain't I hungry? Why ain't I laughing no more? Oh, that's because life is just, no. Life shouldn't be that fucking stressful and shit to where weed don't make me laugh no more, my nigga. I remember one time my sister got high, right? I had to be like a good shit. I was in middle school, I think, because she was in high school and shit. And there was this Mountain Dew commercial. The commercial ain't fucking funny. It ain't funny at all. The funny shit is how she responded to the commercial. It was a Mountain Dew commercial, and it was like the characters like in Gumby mode or something. And one of the kids' names was Davy or some shit. And the little dog, like by the end of the commercial, the kid did something stupid. The dog was like, "Oh, Davy." And my sister laughed for hours at that shit, for days. Every time she, oh, Davy. Like when I can go to her right now and be like, oh, Davy. And she will bust out laughing. Right? Motherfuckers don't laugh no more at weed, bro. That means two things. One, that means two things. One, the weed no longer puts you in parasympathetic mode anymore. You feel me? And for two, your level of fight or flight response and sympathetic mode has gotten so high that weed does not shift it anymore. That's crazy. That's scary. That's scary as fuck to really think about it. You feel what I'm saying? Weed don't do what it used to do anymore. Every drug that they give you now, niggas be on Adderall, niggas be on all kind of drugs and shit and just can't stop fucking with prescription drugs. And all the prescription drugs are just designed to make sure you're sympathetic mode, make sure you're functional in your sympathetic mode. Parasympathetic mode doesn't need drugs. You know why? Because your body is resting and digesting to heal itself. We have to make sure your body can't heal itself because you'll need us. You feel me? When I was in med school and I was taking my pharmacology module and I learned about pharmacology and cell signaling, all they do is put drugs into your body to turn signals on and off. Now, these signals that are supposed to be used in your body, they're designed specifically to make sure your nervous system can say, hey, what state am I in? You feel me? You have a migraine and motherfuckers be like, yo, it's stress induced. Okay, how do I release the stress? You can't, but we can turn it off so you don't feel it for 4 to 6 hours and then you got to take 2 more later. Ooh, but we're not going to tell you that. It's because you're living in the world in which you're supposed to, you're in a rhythm of sympathetic mode. This is the law of rhythm, y'all, being used. So how do we ensure that the sympathetic mode stays on at all times? We're going to control the media and the news, right? We're going to control the education system, right? And we're going to control the food, and we're going to control the workforce. All these 4 components, just these 4, keep you in sympathetic mode. So much so, classism starts to develop a little bit more too. When you're in school, you don't start getting, people be thinking your child has difficulty focusing and shit. You didn't really start having difficulty focusing and learning until A's had to be required, like till you started feeling dumb or started feeling a certain way for not passing a test, or, you know, that's when a fight or flight response started happening. I know a woman she was one of my college professors. And she was telling the story about how her brother got beat because he couldn't read. Right? Our culture's fucked up. She was a black woman, but our culture is so fucked up. Like, if Johnny had 5 apples, I can't digest this shit. Now you've put him, you're in your attempt to try to teach me some shit. You're just putting me deeper in sympathetic mode. I can't fight you for yelling at me. I have to flee, but I can't leave this table. I have to do my homework. Why the fuck are you yelling at me? I don't get it. If you wasn't in school paying, I wasn't playing. I was just sitting in the class trying to get the information, and I don't get it. I don't get it because this teacher isn't designed to teach me. They're designed to force me to memorize some shit. How do you memorize some shit when you're in fight or flight response? You can't, because you can't digest it. Digestion isn't just about food. Fight or flight response is not just about the food part, but it's mental, physical, and spiritual. If I'm mentally and spiritually not in parasympathetic mode, I can't digest shit. I have to believe and trust this motherfucker and memorize everything they say. I never forget when I was in the 5th grade, like, I was always one of the top students, but it was because I was able to process and digest shit. Like, shit never really got to me. Like, I was rarely ever in fight or flight response like that. I didn't go into sympathetic mode until I was 17 years old. Well, 16. When I started running the streets with my thugs. And the women were waiting for me. Tupac, thug life. But nah, I didn't really have to start paying attention to shit heavily and memorizing it until I realized I was moved into sympathetic mode. I was no longer in parasympathetic mode. So by the 5th grade and shit, like, school was so easy because I was able to digest it. I was able to digest everything that day. You feel what I'm saying? But I remember when I was in the 5th grade, we were trying to learn some shit, and one of my classmates just asked me, "Well, what do you want us to know for the test?" Huh. I really started to pay attention when I was in undergrad. And motherfuckers was like, yo, the test, like, niggas were freaked the fuck out. The test is not like the study guide. How'd you pass? The fuck, nigga? I know the material. But he didn't go over that. That wasn't in the study guide. It was in the class, nigga. It was in the book, my nigga. I don't. Did you not study? I studied. No, you try to memorize the information on the study guide. You try to memorize the answers on the study guide. I know the material. He can give it to me, and he or she, they can give it to me in whatever order they choose to give it to me. I know the material, and I'm able to functionally think about the shit, right? Now, when you're in a space, I'm using this because I'm using this specifically to show how this is one of the ways in which we're put in sympathetic mode. When you're in a space where you have to pass, and let me go back to the teacher and everything. So her brother got beat by her dad because he couldn't read. Then when they actually tested him, they found out he was dyslexic. Now I'm in sympathetic mode anytime I try to read. Now it's beyond now that I can't because I'm dyslexic. I've been traumatized. I've been traumatized when it comes to reading. Now I'm in class, right? I'm in school or whatever the case may be. I have to get this A. I have to pass, because what's going to happen when I go home? What's going to happen when I go home? Fuck whether or not I can get the shit. What's going to happen when I go home? Now, how am I going to learn when I go to school from home when I'm in a sympathetic mode? This is why I look at our culture a certain way, because how many of us really wake up to peace? Motherfuckers, you can wake up to a motherfucker yelling at you. Instantly, you're already in sympathetic mode. I can't fight you, but I can't flee either. But it doesn't turn off my sympathetic mode. The fuck? Now, I'm going to school already in sympathetic mode. I'm going to school in sympathetic mode, my nigga. I am on defense. I can't learn shit when I have to learn how to maneuver to keep this motherfucker from fucking with me. When we moved from North Carolina when we moved from California to North Carolina, and I was in the 4th grade, that was the first time I've had teachers attack me. And that was the first time I was always in sympathetic mode. Like, these motherfuckers really didn't fuck with me. And when we when our kids tell the parents, oh, that teacher don't like me, you're not there to be liked. I am. I need to be liked. I need to make sure that this person is not trying to put me in sympathetic mode. These teachers put me in sympathetic mode. Now, granted, sometimes I fucked up. I did some shit. Like, there was a time I threw some gum over a railing and shit. The teacher tried to punk me and shit. I ought to make you eat it. The fuck you won't. Then gonna call my grandma and tell her I threw a stapler at her head. Bitch, what you lie for? Now my grandma is basically telling me I'm about to get in big trouble because you throwing staplers at people. What the fuck do I look like throwing a stapler at a motherfucker head? And if I threw a stapler, why were they able to call you conscious? Are y'all not seeing that shit? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the fuck, man? You feel me? How many of us go into the education system already in sympathetic mode and don't realize it? You'll have ADHD too and not be able to focus. If you worried about, did I lock that? I was a latchkey kid. I was classified as a latchkey kid. I don't think a lot of people get the depths of that, right? I didn't get the depths of it until my freshman or sophomore year in college. Because my girlfriend at the time, she was education major. She wanted to be a teacher, whatever. So we was going over latchkey kids, and she was like, "You were a latchkey kid." Yeah. And when she started breaking it down, she said it fucked with her because she was like, most latchkey kids should not be in a position you're in. Why not? Oh, this is extra responsibility. She said, you had a key. Duh, nigga, I had to get in the house. The fuck? Like, when I get off the bus, I got to get in the house. Ain't nobody there home for waiting for us. You feel what I'm saying? We got to get in, do our homework, do everything. She said, wow, no wonder you're so tense and everything like that. And I was like, the fuck you mean? She was like, I didn't. She's like, I always wonder why you were so intense, why your shoulders were always up, why you was always this and that and the third. She said, because you had a responsibility a child shouldn't have had. The fuck are you talking about? Then I went back and I started to think about it. Just because you can function in the shit doesn't mean it's not a problem. But as a latchkey kid, I'm in class thinking, did I lock the door? Did I turn the iron off? Did I cut off that light? Oh shit, the light bill gonna be up. I forgot to turn the light off. Did I turn off all the water? Did I lock the door? Did I leave any windows open? Did I forget to put the bars? Like, that's what the fuck I'm thinking about. Fuck whether or not 2 + 2 = 4. I don't give a fuck about that shit. There's a poem. And I don't even know if it's really a poem because it don't rhyme, but it's just that fucking deep. It's called But I Ain't Have a Pencil. Teacher wrote the kid up or whatever the case may be because the kid didn't have a pencil. But then when he went through, I had to wake my sister up. I had to get my sister ready to go to school. I had to get ready to school. I had to make sure I had all my homework. My sister had their homework. My mom's getting ready to go to work. She's already gone. I got to make sure the door's locked and everything. But you worried about whether or not I got a pencil. I'm worried about that I lock the door. I'm worried about it I take the fucking chicken out the freezer before I left because I can't thaw it when I get home. That's what the fuck I'm worried about. That's what the fuck I'm worried about. 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. You worried about a fucking pencil? Shut the fuck up. You worried about do I have my homework, nigga? I had to work at home. The fuck? I had to make sure that I was able to get into the house. I had to make sure that when we got in, like, nobody's broken in. I had to worry about that shit. Mom had work, bro. And after she get all work, she going straight to school. I'm not going to see her until like 8, 9 o'clock. If that, because I might be asleep. You feel what I'm saying? So now when they say they build prisons off third grade test scores, nigga, we build prisons off the fact that we know you not going to learn because you're in sympathetic mode. Because you're in poverty. And because you're in poverty, right, your parents are going to treat you a different way. They're going to make sure you're in sympathetic mode because they're always in sympathetic mode and they teach you how to respond like that. You feel me? All you do is emulate their behavior. And the behavior that you emulate from them is from sympathetic mode. That's it. That's it. That's it. But this is a rhythm. This is a law of fucking rhythm, my nigga. We're gonna like this. This is gonna happen. The system is so wired, nigga. We not worried about it fucking up. So much so that we can now run the statistics and see what the fuck is up. Now, when they say 70% of black boys will go to prison if they're raised of a single mother. You see how the statistic can work? Because we have a rhythm in place, my nigga, to make sure she's always going to be in stress. She's always going to be stressed out. She's going to put you in a space where you always got to defend yourself and you can't flee. This is why I be telling women. Now we're going to get to the fathers and shit, but this is why I be telling women. You may not raise your son to hit women, but make sure he's not a woman he wish he could hit. Make sure you're not a woman he wish he could hit. Because, nigga, he's going to beat the shit out of somebody's daughter. And if he don't beat the shit out of somebody's daughter, he's going to take a whole bunch of shit from somebody's daughter that he should not have to take. You feel what I'm saying? Shit crazy, bruh. Shit crazy. But it was one thing when it was just classism and it was just black people that we put in sympathetic mode to go make them work and do all of this other shit. You just create a body, a motherfucker to work when they're in sympathetic mode. They not thinking about shit else. They can't think about shit else. They think about, I got to get up and go to the next day so I can make this money for this. I can make this money for this. So I can pay this bill. I can pay this bill. I can pay. You're not even realize you're enslaved anymore. But you don't even know you're in sympathetic mode. You don't even know that the law of rhythm has you in a vibration of a correspondence of a polarity of all of this shit to put you in a fucking rhythm. A rhythm in which we make you work 90% to rest for 90% of a year to rest for 4%. We know you're going to get sick. We know these things about you. We know what's going to happen. This is why we now, within your job, we're going to give you good, quote unquote, health insurance. We're going to give you these things. because we already know the rhythm that's going to put you here. We want to make you feel good about what the fuck we about to do to you. Yeah, you can go buy a car to come to work for us. Yeah, you can get a house that you can't even enjoy because all you can do is go home, sleep, eat, and come back. Your kids, nigga, we're going to raise them. You're not going to raise your motherfucking children. The fuck? The fuck? Motherfuckers be swearing they kids ain't like, I know. No, you don't. You don't know your kids. You don't know your fucking kids, bro. The teachers know your children better than you do. And that changes every fucking year. You don't know your fucking babies, my nigga. Go back to the rhythm that I was talking about. You work 8 hours a day, right? You sleep for 8, and then you have 8 hours to do what you're going to do. How much time do you really have with your kids in a day? Oh, we got about 2 hours, and then we got the weekend and some shit like that. 18 fucking years of only having 4% and giving up 96% to external forces, only having 4% to yourself and your people and your family. Do you really know your fucking babies? No, you fucking don't. Now, everybody's in sympathetic mode. You feel me? Not only from the shit that we do on a regular basis, but we're in sympathetic mode from the time we go to school to the time we come home. Now, imagine you in class and you can't get the material, and you think you can't get the material. They got you thinking you stupid. No, you cannot digest and process shit when you are in sympathetic mode. So we're going to say you got ADHD. No, bitch, I'm in fight or flight response. And I can't fight, and I can't fight, but this is how I'm fleeing. I got to dissociate and disconnect from this shit. You know how many motherfuckers right now are adults that dissociate just like that? Like, sympathetic mode has gotten motherfuckers so comfortable with dissociation that they don't even know that it's not a good thing. Soon as some shit hit, I can separate. That's not good to be able to separate yourself from an experience, from an event. That's horrible. That is because you are in sympathetic mode and now you have to dissociate from your body to not feel this shit. This shit ain't normal, my nigga. But it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. And I know I'm jumping all over the place, but hey, it all ties in. Fuck with me if you fuck with me, flow if you flow. So now when they start this education system, by 3rd grade, they already know who's already in sympathetic mode, who's not going to be. We already know by the time you're in sympathetic mode, you're going to stop thinking. You're not going to think, bro. You can't. You can't. But now we're going to put limits to the shit, right? Within your sympathetic mode, can you get this A, a B, a C, or a D? Now, when you start getting quote unquote bad grades, you're in a different sympathetic mode because now you start to get anxiety about the future that has not even come yet. If you don't get good grades, you won't be able to get a good job. If you don't get good grades, you won't be able to do this. Now, you're as a kid are watching people struggle with their jobs. Oh, damn, they must not have got good grades because they didn't. Wow. This is all little subtle subconscious shit that you don't even see absorbing into you. Excuse me. As a kid. You don't even see that shit. Now you know that I'm not going to be able to survive or take care of myself if I fail. When I was in college, like, I had a professor actually break it down to me. Because like I said, this is when the sympathetic mode really started hitting me, when it was in college and shit. Because I was in physics. And my professor, I went to his office hours one time because I had did bad on the test. Or was it a quiz or something? It was a quiz because I still ended up with a B in his class. So it couldn't have been a test. But it was definitely a quiz. So he's like, are you okay? What? Yeah, I'm okay. Nigga, what the fuck you talking about? I'm defensive. But he's like, nah, I mean, like, every day in class, you participate, you get all the answers right. But he said, as soon as a quiz comes, you don't, like, what happens? He said, it's test anxiety. I was like, what? Again, shit that I know nothing about. I don't know shit about anxiety. I don't know shit about none of this shit. I come from an area where we didn't talk about mental health. I come from a space where it's just like, nigga, this is what it was. I didn't realize how bad my anxiety was until my girlfriend at the time pointed it out to me. Because I would be sitting down and my foot would just go fire. It'll be like, you know how Thumper was on Bambi? Like my foot would just go off like that when I'm thinking. But it's anxiety kicking in. I don't know it's anxiety. So she'd be like, yo, I'm like, yeah, I'm just thinking. Thinking about what? Like, what the fuck? And it's like, it would get so deep that she would literally have to just grab my leg and say, calm down. I'm like, I'm calm. You're not calm. What are you thinking about? I can't fail. I can't fail. I didn't realize how deep that put me into sympathetic mode. As a black man, you got to work twice as hard to get half as much and all this other shit. And then going into college without having the healing or going through any of the therapy or nothing after what I talked about in the 200th episode. That's why I said earlier in the episode, I said by 17, that's when I really went into sympathetic mode. Because I can't fail. I can't fuck up. I have to survive. I cannot mess up ever again. I can't. I just can't. So physics, he like, yo, you got test anxiety. Anytime I can't fail. I can't do bad. I can't fail because I got to erase what I did. I got to erase that aspect of myself. Not realizing that, nigga, you had already erased it. You owned up to the decision. You owned up to the situation. You gone through everything. You have nothing to worry about. Nothing more to worry about. That was a decision. That was it. It wasn't who you were as a person. But now I'm focused on, I'm always in sympathetic mode, fight or flight response. Everything is tied to that, right? So when he pointed out test anxiety, I was like, the fuck is that? But then when I was able to acknowledge it, I was able to fix it. And then he's like, yo, you know what you're doing. Stop thinking you're going to fail. Wow. How'd you know? How you know that I was thinking I was going to fail? He said, because you can't fail. He was like, you feel like you can't fail. And you can. And the moment you realize that you can fail and make it okay if you do, and you learn from it, I said, oh. But all my life, I had been taught that I had to get it right the first time. That's what school teaches us. Get it right the first time. If you're going to get an A, you only have one shot to get the A. The fuck? And when you're an A-B student, you like, damn, nigga, like I'm used to getting it right the first time. You don't know how to fail. But when you fail in fight or flight response, you lose your shit. You lose your shit. Because now it goes back to when you're a kid. If you don't get the good grades, if you don't keep your grades up and shit and all of this shit, nigga, you're not going to have a good job. You're not going to have this. I'm not going to be able to survive. I am not going to be able to survive. They put that fear in you early. Early. So if they tell you that you're not going to be able to survive if you don't do this, what mode do you think you're already in? Survival mode. What is survival mode? Sympathetic mode. This is a fucking rhythm, my peoples. This is the law of rhythm being implemented. Implemented. And it is heavily, heavily, heavily wired into the psyche of humanity. Nobody knows how to shift into parasympathetic mode. Most motherfuckers don't even know what parasympathetic mode is. Your doctors ain't gonna tell you that shit. This is shit that you're going to have to actually go in and experience and see. This is a fucking game. These niggas got us like all kinds of fucked up. It ain't even that. It just got us all kind of fucked up. They using the law of the universe that is going to work 100% of the time. Now we can just put the right pieces together. We got this shit forever. Forever, ever, 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 forever, ever. So much so they'll do the work for us. They'll do the work for us for their kids. We don't have to do shit else. They'll send their kids to the school. Now it's like, well, why? How come? And this is how deep it is. The average adult, which would be a millennial, because the baby boomers are seniors now, but the average adult does not read beyond a 6th grade level. Why? Because you can't learn to read when you're in sympathetic mode. You don't read properly when you're in sympathetic mode. Look at social media. Niggas read shit and they go off of emotion. Do you know why? They're in sympathetic mode. Their first reaction is to fight. I always hear it all the time. You know, like, yo, you didn't have to respond to this. Yes, I did. This person's page is public. No, nigga, you felt like you needed to fight. That's why social media is full of tough motherfuckers. Niggas can fight online. My sympathetic mode is always on. I can fight online. Niggas don't read shit. Niggas can't digest shit properly. So they respond to fight some shit that ain't got shit to do with what they fighting for. I felt offended. Why do you think everybody's so offended? Now you have cancel culture. You have niggas. Everybody's so offended some shit and they have to fight online. They don't do this shit in real life. Because in real life, you got to physically fight, nigga. You got to be able to fight. I'm fortunate enough to have grown up in the hood areas that I've grown up in to where, nigga, we was always in sympathetic mode and we couldn't flee. So, nigga, you gonna get these hands. We gonna fight. I'll take the L if I got to take it. Now, fast forward a little. Why the YNs always killing each other, nigga? I'm in fight or flight response. I can't flee and I can't fight. The fuck? Niggas can't fight no more. Niggas can't fight no more. Not only can they not fight, they don't know how to fight. And they don't know what to do after they lose a fight. Because does that stop the sympathetic mode? No, nigga. This nigga's gonna keep fucking with me. I gotta kill him. The fuck? We don't know fight or flight response. We don't realize how deeply interwoven it is into the culture, into the people. You feel me? How many motherfuckers don't know how to fight? So now when we look at the kids, it's not funny, but when we look at the kids that are, suicidal, and we have so many kids, oh, this person was bullied, and they don't know how to fight. They don't know how to fight. You're sending your kid to school as a coward. The fuck? I'm getting a little frustrated right now, and it's gonna be a lot of anger with these next whatever. I feel it. I already feel it. I'm just letting you know right now. We send our kids to school as fucking cowards. And the school system is designed to put them in fight or flight response. Every system in America is designed to put you in fight or flight response so they can capitalize off of you. And you're sending your children out of the house into a world that is making them go into sympathetic mode without knowing how to fucking fight. I'm not just talking physically, but I am talking physically, but they don't know how to fight physically. They don't know how to fight mentally. They don't know how to fight spiritually. You're teaching your kids on how to be fucking cowards. When it comes to religion, I try not to go into the religious aspect this episode because I go into it too motherfucking much. But when we go into religion makes us fucking cowards spiritually. Niggas is fucking prayer warriors. You teach a baby how to be a fucking prayer warrior, and now your baby is the coward. Because they're going to school battling spiritual, mental, and physical fight or flight response, and they can't fight. They can't flee either. The bully's in their classroom. The bully's in the cafeteria with them. The bully's in recess with them. The bully is everywhere they go, and they can't flee, but they can't fight. You didn't teach them how to fucking fight. When I was in kindergarten, I got bullied. When my brother found out I was getting bullied, he took me to the shed and he roughed me up. It's like, nigga, what does that change? I don't like violence, my nigga. Why does this person? And basically, it doesn't matter who the person is, where the person is, or what the person is. You have to know how to fight. If not, you're going to run. You can't run forever. When he got me in the shed, I couldn't run. This nigga get me off you. It ain't like he held me down and beat me up, nothing crazy. Like he would just hit me and I would just, he was like, let it out. And then I started crying. Nah, don't let it out like that. Hit me back. Boom. And he kept hitting me. And then I snapped. I ain't get bullied no more after that. Because the same kid ran up on me. And that was it. After that, I didn't flee no more. I never fled another fight again in my life. Ever. But it turned me into a more violent fighter. Because I fought more. It's like, oh, nigga, we in sympathetic. Nigga, I didn't know this is what I'm saying, but I'm like, oh, we in sympathetic mode? Nigga, we ain't gonna flee. Let's fight. Let's fucking fight, nigga. Bring your ass. Let's fucking fight. And I will fight. We send our babies to school not being able to fight. You're not there to walk away. I'm not teaching. Look, hear me fucking well. I'm going to homeschool my kids, but by high school, I'm going to let my kids go to high school because I will have already bypassed the indoctrination. They already set straight, and I want them to go to prom. I want them to start that aspect because now they got to start dealing with motherfuckers in the world. They got to start knowing that there's a difference between regular students, honor students, they're gonna have to know. So I gotta send them to high school. You feel what I'm saying? But they gonna know how to fight. And I be damned if I'm not telling you to walk away from the shit first or go get somebody. Beat them the fuck up. Neutralize it there. I already know how the system goes. I already know how the school system is gonna go. You gonna go tell the motherfucker. They gonna tell y'all just to stay away from each other. They gonna there's gonna be a whole bunch of steps, and then you gonna eventually snap on the motherfucker. Just snap on them now. I'll deal with the shit later. Daddy will deal with the shit later. You feel me? Snap on them now. Get the shit out the fucking way, and we go on about our business. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not sending my kids into a space where I know they are in sympathetic mode at all times and they can't fight. Fuck no. And that was my problem. I was always ready to fight. Because like I said, there's a rhythm in place to make sure you're in sympathetic mode, and we're going to test to see who will fight. That's why we build prisons off of third grade test scores. Because we also know, in addition to that, when you can't flee, when we start picking on you, when the kids start laughing at you and shit like that, you're going to start fighting. You're going to start fighting to stop the laughter. You're going to stop fighting to stop the humiliation. You're going to start fighting to do all of these things. We got a prison system waiting for you. By 7th grade, motherfuckers, you got anger issues. I ain't got fucking anger issues. You feel me? I did, but I didn't. But now I understand what it really was. I was in sympathetic mode at all time. I should not have been in sympathetic mode at 11 and 12 years old. And now I have a teacher that's threatening me. They're not threatening me like they're going to put their hands on me, but you yelling. I can't flee from this shit, so what you want to do? Got my gauge, my Uzi, and a motherfucking 22. I ain't had no guns at no fucking 12 years old. I'm just rapping. Snoop Dogg. You feel me? What's side? But nah. So when you're in that space where now you go into authority versus autonomy, my autonomy doesn't flee. My autonomy fights. Now your authority is clashing with my autonomy right now, and we gonna have a big ass problem, my nigga. Because that's another aspect of the system. Authority. The authority can make you sympathetic, but you can't fight it. You feel me? The authority is designed to break you down. It's designed to beat you into submission. So I had, by 6th and 7th grade, I had male teachers and shit, and it was like, oh, nigga, I ain't no bitch, bro. I'm just not. You don't have to say anything. Well, why the fuck do you say anything, the things that you say to me to elicit that response and make me shut up? What are you trying to do to me? You're trying to emasculate me. You're trying to break me. You're trying to make me flee when you know I'll fight. You're trying to make me flee when you know I'll fight. You better watch your shit. You better watch your tone. And the reason why, like I said, I get so passionate about this because we have so many kids that we keep seeing. This kid got bullied and they committed suicide. This kid got bullied and they committed suicide. They didn't beat the motherfucker up. What the fuck? My niece, my youngest niece, man, she got into her first fight. She got into her first fight. I was so proud. I was so motherfucking proud. I was so proud because I was wondering if she was gonna be a fighter. I was scared because it's like she's so peaceful. She's so calm. She don't like loud noises. She don't like none of that shit. She don't like for you to yell. She don't like being surprised. She don't like none of that shit. And I was like, man, I hope my niece don't. I hope she got our bloodline, bro. I do. She got into her first fight. Beat Shorty up. I mean, she beat the little girl up. And then, like, she beat the girl up. She came in the house, told my sister and shit. She was like, look, I'm going to let you know right now. This when I knew the bloodline didn't die. She came in the house and told my sister and shit. She was like, look, I'm going to let you know right now. She was messing with me. I beat her up. Her mama going to come talk to you soon or whatever the case may be. Oh, she was like, why you beat her up? Because she said something to me and she kept messing with me. So I did what I had to do. I know she's good. I won't have to worry about her going off into school or into spaces like that and getting bullied. It's not going to happen to my niece. My brother's kids, I ain't never had to worry about them. They're live wires. They're fucking live wires, my nigga. When that my second oldest nephew, all right, this nigga has been a gangster since he was in elementary school. He had niggas, bro. Like and it's sad. It's not sad, but it's like he reminded me so much of me because it's like he was kingpin type shit. This nigga is in the office, and you know what I'm saying, like. Somebody snitched on him or some shit, and he's like, yo, snitches got to get dealt with. Nigga, you're in the 3rd grade. You're 8 years old. What the fuck do you know about snitches getting dealt with? Who the fuck told you that shit? Where you see that shit? This nigga's in the office talking to the principal. Talking, that's a whole lot of gang shit. Nigga, what? I'm proud of you, but goddamn, this is the shit. This is the shit because now it's like, where do you find that balance at? Because you can't teach somebody like that to flee. The men in my bloodline, we don't flee. We don't flee. We're warriors. And I know it's like, well, Sing, didn't you get bullied when you was 5? Let me tell you why I got bullied. I knew what I would do to him. Every fight that I always got, I knew what I would do to the person. I knew it. There came a point when I stopped giving a fuck about what I would do to the person because niggas wouldn't get it. The first kid that I beat up when I was 5, when I got bullied, I knew what I would do to him. I cried the whole time I beat him up because as I'm beating him up, I have him backed up against a brick wall. And every hit that I'm landing on his face is making his head bounce against the brick wall. And I'm crying because I didn't want to do it, but I enjoyed it. I knew then that I didn't have a problem with it. And I hated the fact that I didn't have a problem with it at first. I hated that. But I come from a bloodline of warriors that the warrior spirit is so vital in us that we don't give a fuck. When it's there, and we taking it where it has to go. Seeing it in my nephews is like, fuck. But it's like, yes. It's fuck in the context that I know that if y'all ain't got it right, y'all gonna hurt some shit. But it's yes in the concept, ain't nobody gonna fuck with y'all. I ain't worried about nobody fucking with y'all. And getting away with it, ain't nobody fucking with y'all. And then my brother kids, he got 3 boys and 1 girl. They better not ever fuck with my niece, yo. I promise you. There's layers they gotta get through first. You feel me? Before we ever, as the adults, as the men, have to ever get involved. You feel me? My niece, my sister daughter, she's the only child. Oh, nigga, ain't no levels. Ain't no buffers. Ain't no buffers. Go get your daddies. Go get whoever. Nigga, it is what it is. You feel me? But that's been a part of, like I said, my entire mentality. Now, this is when I get into, I got frustrated like with religion and shit and all of that shit because that tames you. That turns you into a prayer warrior. Real warriors don't pray. They pray with the E, not with the A. You feel me? So when the motherfucker, we gonna pray, like I got cousins that they just not it. But they're heavily religious. And I'm like, nigga, I wouldn't call y'all. They'll call me if some shit popped off. They will call me if some shit popped off. They know who to call. But I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't even try to, because I already know what it is. They're gonna flee. You feel me? But it's in my blood. Like I said, after I got into that first fight, nigga, I didn't care about fleeing anymore. I didn't want to flee. I didn't give a fuck about not hurting anybody anymore either way. Because I started to realize when my brother roughed me up that day, and this, I know I'm getting all over the place. I'm getting back to rhythm. I'm going to get back to the school system and education, but this just got to be said. My brother roughed me up that day and he told me, like, you're not going to be able to flee all the time, so you need to learn how to fight. And in my mind, I'm like, I know how to fight. I just don't want to. But that day he told me, you got to take that shit away. This is why when you hear me talk about Dragon Ball Z and I talk about Gohan, especially during the Cell Saga, that's why the Cell Saga is my favorite saga, and that's why Gohan is always my favorite character. Because Gohan had the power. Gohan had it in him the whole time, but he didn't want to hurt nobody. He like, I know what I do to people. I don't want to do that to people because they don't deserve to have what I'm going to do to them. You feel what I'm saying? They don't deserve to have what I'm going to do to them done to them. But the Android 16 told that nigga, he said, look, there's people who words alone won't reach. He said, you're kind. You don't like to hurt. But it's because you value life that you must protect it. And then after that, Cell stepped on the nigga head. Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 and just, he said, see, nigga, when he was beating Cell ass and shit, Cell was like, you a monster. He said, see, I told you, nigga. I fucking told you. I told you not to fuck with me. I told you to leave me the fuck alone. But no, nigga, you just had to test the fucking limits. And now look at where we are. Look at where we are. You scared now, huh, little bitch? He ain't say all that, but that's how I interpreted the motherfucking scene. You feel what I'm saying? And I say that because our kids wouldn't be suicidal going to the school system that is designed to already put them in fight or flight response. And now they're getting bullied and they're killing themselves because they're fleeing and they're not fighting. They're fleeing. And I would rather my kid beat the fuck out of a motherfucker, not kill him. Beat the fuck out of a motherfucker, bloody him, make him never fuck with him again, than my kid take their own life because they were afraid to actually implement the problem. Implement the necessary solution to this problem. You feel what I'm saying? We send our kids to school as cowards, and we don't know that we're sending them to fight or flight response, to be programmed into being stuck in a fight or flight response. And we're telling them, oh, behave, oh, be good, oh, don't do this. No. I'm letting you know right now. If your kid ends up in school with my kid and your kid bullies my kid or even attempts to, your kid is getting fucked up. And if you want to come to the school and have a meet out and talk about it, I'm going to fuck you up too. I'm not in a space where I'm going to sit there and, let the parents talk. No. Bust they motherfucking ass right now. Because it's not going to stop until you do. Because that's the only reason why they fucking with you. Because chances are that sympathetic mode that they can't fight or flight from at home, right? They're at home in their fight or flight response. They're bringing that shit to the school where they don't have to flee. And they're choosing to fight somebody who they think is going to flee from them. Why? Because they're being fucked with and they can't fight back. They can only flee. So they're going to get into a no. We're transmuting that energy right the fuck now. If you send your motherfucking babies to school and your babies are bullies, my babies are going to beat them the fuck up if they fuck with mine. It's that simple. And it's that simple. And if more of us were able to actually do that and stop raising these cowards and shit who don't know how to maneuver with the fight or flight response, everything will start to change. But the reason why we don't is because there is a rhythm. Because they start teaching you. Yeah, the moment you start being bad in school, that's the pathway. Next thing you know, now you're programming your kid's personal identity to, I defended myself. Now I'm going to end up a criminal. Fuck no. Because now you're telling them don't defend yourself when you're in fight or flight response. You're teaching them to flee. Now your kid is fleeing and they get jumped. Now your kid is fleeing and they get beat up. Now your kid is fleeing and they commit suicide. Because a motherfucker was bullying them? Because a motherfucker was roasting them and joking? No, teach them how to roast back. I learned how to roast. Niggas don't fuck with me when it comes to these words and jokes. I'm telling you, don't play with me. I used to have and that's why I'm glad I was able to fight, because niggas would start to joke and shit, and then when I started to joke back and shit, it's like, I'm mad now. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Let's go. What you want to do? How you want this to play the fuck out? You feel what I'm saying? I'm on a different rhythm right now. How you want this shit to play out? My mama always taught me. She said, if somebody fuck with you, beat the snot out of them. You better hope you cry, because I can't stop fighting till I see snot. And then you better hope it's snot and not blood. Because, nigga, I need snot. I'm glad she ain't teach me like she taught my brother and sister, though, because she told them to beat the shit out of them. Because she was cussing then. She had got back into church with me. But she told me, I'm like, damn. I used to wonder, because I beat the snot out of a couple people. But I'm like, did y'all ever beat the shit out of somebody? Like, literally? Like, beat them so bad they shit themselves? Like, damn. Like, how much do you got to fight? How long do you have to fight? Like, what fear do you have to put in the motherfuckers where it's like, nigga, you shitting on yourself now? You feel me? I beat the snot out of quite a few people, but I never beat the shit out of somebody. I hope I never have to beat the shit out of somebody, because goddamn, nigga, it's a lot of fighting. And I'm gonna tell you why it's a lot of fighting, because now when you're in sympathetic mode, that the ability to shit is gone. People be wondering why they're constipated. Y'all like how I just weave this shit. But when you're in sympathetic mode, your ability to shit is gone. Because now when you're in sympathetic mode, your body thinks it's fight or flight response. That's why you don't use the bathroom. When you're in fight or flight response, that's why you don't shit when you're in fight or flight response. Because your body has turned off those functions. Because those functions are a part of rest and digest. It's part of parasympathetic mode. But when you're in fight or flight response, you're not thinking about shitting. You're not thinking about pissing. None of that shit. You're thinking about getting the fuck away. You feel what I'm saying? But now they make us extend our tolerance for this shit. You feel me? Because this is a rhythm that is in place that they have created. They made sure that they created well, so that way everything works the way they need it to fucking work. And the reason why I spent so much time on the school system and everything like that, because that's where the shit fucking starts. We don't even know that that's the hub. That's when our nutrition begins, what we eat on a regular basis. That's where our initial spark of survival, anxiety, all of that shit starts. All of those things are still functions of the sympathetic mode. And now I control the way that you eat. And I'm a program you had like motherfuckers are drinking chocolate milk, and for lunch we would eat pizza and drink chocolate milk, my nigga. All that fucking dairy. All that fucking dairy. Now we in school nervous and shit. Like you said, like think about this, bro. Our kids aren't even prepared to be around that many people at one time. We send them there to go make friends. We send them there to wear a mask. We send them a whole bunch of they're not even prepared to be around that many people. That many energies at one time. They don't know how to process that shit. They feel a threat. They're in sympathetic mode from the jump, from kindergarten. You feel me? They're in sympathetic mode from kindergarten. Yeah, it's like, well, when your kid came home, they had a good day, they eventually let the tension down and everything, but this shit does the same thing every single year. Over and over again. As soon as they get familiar with somebody, this is why we have attachment issues. This is why we have connection issues. As soon as we get our class changes again, we change schools. We put our kids in so many different situations that we think I'm doing what's best for you. You doing the best for me ain't got shit to do with anything. If there's a sympathetic mode, there's an attack on my sympathetic mode. And it's been this way since I was a kid. So now when I grow up, I just normalize being in my sympathetic mode. And I don't even know that this is what it is. I just think this is here. Now I'm in depression. Now I have depression. Now I have all these things. You get depression when you can't flee. But you got to keep facing the shit and you can't fight. The fuck? The fuck kind of shit is that, bro? But all of that comes from the law of rhythm. There's a multitude of ways that the law of rhythm can play out. I wanted this one to be what I discussed when it came to the law of rhythm, because this is what we're in. Now when you add in, integration, all this other shit, we wonder why your kids are the way they are right now. We wonder why the coaches are the way they are right now. We wonder why the world is the way it is right now. There's a rhythm at play. And this rhythm that's at play right now, you can't break it. Because it's beyond a vibration. It's beyond a frequency. It's beyond a correspondence. It's a rhythm that is designed to keep you in sympathetic mode. And as long as you're in sympathetic mode, everything you do will be based off survival. But everything you do, from the way you eat, from the way you think, from the way you dress, from the way you look, it is to alleviate the fight or flight response when you can't fight, but you can only flee. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. That's the law of rhythm. That's the law of motherfucking rhythm. I ain't even talk about the music of the universe like I was supposed to with the title. But if you can't see the music and the noise, then it is what it is, bro. That's just how I had to play this shit out. I just had to talk about it from that perspective. Like, these people are evil, bro. But they not doing nothing wrong. Ain't that some shit? These are evil people who are doing nothing wrong because they're just honoring the law of the universe. But they manipulate your understanding of it and don't allow you to understand it, so you don't see when they're using the laws of the universe. Everybody's in sympathetic mode. Everybody eats the same thing. Everybody is tied to the law of rhythm that allows them to capitalize day in and day out every single fucking day. This is indoctrination. Indoctrination is when you honor the law of rhythm and you align people to whatever system you want them to align to. Monday through Friday, go to school from 7 to 3. Whatever. Saturday and Sunday. Well, Saturday you have your time. Sunday you go to church. If you go to church, you go to wherever it is. Or Saturday, however you look at it. However you get down with what your get down is. You do this every single day. Every single week. Every single month. Every single year. Every single decade. Every single century. It keeps going. And it's just plug and play. It's just plug and play. But it's plug and play to make sure that the rhythm that you're on is sympathetic mode. And in this sympathetic mode, you're going to eat what we tell you to eat. Because we know that you're not thinking. So when the nigga says, I do not want a nation of thinkers, I need a nation of workers. I need motherfuckers who, in order to have a nation of workers, I need motherfuckers who are only going to work. And you're only going to work in survival mode. You're not going to think in survival mode. You're going to be in fight or flight response. If you've ever been in a fight, for real, you don't think during a fight. You have to hope that you've trained enough that when the fight or flight response kicks in, your body can just respond. Some niggas haven't practiced enough to be able to respond when the fight is on, so they can only flee. What do you do when you can't flee nowhere? When you can't flee from bad nutrition? When you can't flee from fucked up religion? When you can't flee from tainted spirituality? When you can't flee from any of the things that you're fleeing from and you can't fight either? You conform. You conform. This is not an accident. Next week, when I discuss the law of the final law, which is the law of gender, every definition, every expression of how I said masculinity and femininity is, of the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of synthesis and construction, analysis and deconstruction, will make sense. How I arrived at those definitions, in addition to a lot of the other shit that I studied, will make fucking sense. The law of rhythm is so fucking potent that in this world, the only way that you can keep yourself out of sympathetic mode is to put yourself in rhythms that are parasympathetic, which means you have to understand parasympathetic mode. This is why a lot of people fail at entrepreneurship. This is why a lot of people fail at changing their lives and changing certain things, because I don't realize that I have to change out of sympathetic mode in order to be productive with what it is that I want to change to. A lot of the shit that we want to do that's going to cause us to thrive, it requires us to be out of sympathetic mode. And it's hard to get out of sympathetic mode when you are aligned with a culture and society that has a rhythm in place to make sure you stay in sympathetic mode. Which means you're going to have to stop watching TV, which means you're going to have to stop streaming shit, which means you're going to have to stop listening to music, which means you're going to have to stop listening and actively doing certain things for a specific period of time so you can understand what it's like to rest. Not sleep, but rest and digest, process some shit. Are there manual ways in which you can override? Yes, meditation is one of them. Meditation, muscle ringing, these things in which you're able to understand how to shift your body into this space correctly. You feel what I'm saying? They don't want you to know that. They want you to stay in sympathetic mode so that way we can treat the sympathetic mode. We're telling you that you're sick. We're telling you that you're getting a disease. We're telling you that you all of these things. We're not telling you that it's because your nervous system is in sympathetic mode. Because if we told you that, you'll turn it off. Because you'll realize, oh, I have control over sympathetic mode. You sure do. You sure do. And you have control over parasympathetic mode. You just have to know how to turn them off. Turn them off and turn them on. You feel what I'm saying? I know I was all over the place because every idea came with something new, but the law of rhythm, that's such a powerful law because even from the law of polarity, now imagine if you're in sympathetic mode, fight or flight response, but now from the law of polarity, us being solely in a detrimental space, what do you think that happens? What do you think that does? Our rhythms can only be bad. And then when we shift into positive rhythms, we wonder why we can't fuck with certain people. We wonder why we can't fuck with certain things because society has everybody wrapped into the same sympathetic mode. Everybody's trying to survive. But we think that just surviving is, I'm trying to make money. I need to, no. You need to be able to turn sympathetic mode off and you don't know how. I'm going to say this and I'm going to wrap it up. When I was in undergrad, I was dealing with this woman and we worked together and, we started, I was digging her. We started talking and shit and she invited me to her room one day. And while I was in her room, I'm sitting on the bed, we watching TV, she fall asleep. I'm like, damn, nigga, I'm boring you with some shit. No, that's what it was. Like, I didn't know that she was asleep. I thought she was just, laying up on me and shit and everything. Then she started snoring. So I just got up. I said, I'm about to go. No. Where you going? I said, man, you sleep, bro. You clearly don't want me here, man. I'm boring you, obviously. I'm not perceiving certain shit. She was like, no, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. I'm not bored with you. I'm safe. I was like, what? Man, you just don't want me to go, man. You clearly, you would stay. And I started to think about it. As a black woman, because we had an HBCU, as a black woman, she's by herself. Because, we campus apartments and shit like that, whatever. She's by herself, motherfucking, at night, she has to walk by herself to her room and everything like that. And she's in sympathetic mode at all times. And my presence allowed her to go into parasympathetic mode and she went straight to sleep. At the time, as immature child, well, not a child, because I was like 20, 21, 22-ish. So at the time, I'm like, man, but now I got a different appreciation for it because I would notice that would happen with all the women that I was involving myself with. They would go to sleep around me. And I would be like, oh, they was like, yo, I'm just so calm. Like I'm free with you. Like I'm calm I turn your sympathetic mode off. But mine's still on. So I'm agitated and I'm irritated because now I'm thinking I'm boring you. Now my fight or flight response, and now that shit is kicking on with me because now I'm wondering, does she really fuck with me? Does she really like me? Does she really care? And now I'm starting to think a whole bunch of other scenarios that makes me not even want to even fuck with you because you're falling asleep on me, but you're falling asleep on me because I allow you to get out of sympathetic mode. That's power. That's power because what I'm able to do is shift your rhythms. I'm going to allow you to see what needs to be, you know what I'm saying? And that led me to one, be able to start to notice it within myself, but to know that in the future, like This is something that I have to be able to make sure my kids can do. You feel me? Not just allow motherfuckers to fall asleep around them, but no, be able to operate in sympathetic mode. Be able to rest and digest. Be safe. Be safe. When you're in sympathetic mode, you're not safe. Every day, they show us on the news. Every day, they show us on social media. Every day, they show us why we should be afraid, why we should stay in sympathetic mode. COVID did a number on motherfuckers, bro. That took sympathetic mode to a whole nother level where it took it so far that motherfuckers' mentalities were able to be corrupted and the rhythms were able to be changed. They literally shifted the rhythm of reality right in front of our eyes during COVID. Not everybody was able to see it. Anybody stuck in sympathetic mode knowing that I can't fight this and I don't even know where to flee. What do you think that did to your psychology? What do you think that did to your psyche? It allowed them to program new rhythms. You're aligned with a new rhythm now. Don't even realize it. Look at the rhythms of the world right now and the things that are now that are back, quote unquote, normalized. That's the rhythm. That's the rhythm they wanted the world to be on. AI, all of this, that's the new rhythm. In order to change the rhythm, the law of the rhythm, they have to make sure you're in sympathetic mode. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about reading the book Battle for the Mind by William Sargent. They traumatize you in such a way that your sympathetic mode stays on and goes to a whole nother level, but you can't flee and you can't fight because you don't know what to fight and you don't know what to flee from. So you just have to take whatever's being said to you and you take it. And now a new rhythm is developed. And now that this new rhythm is developed, everybody's now synchronized to it again. Just like that. Just like that. It's crazy, but it's real. And that's the law of rhythm. That's the law of rhythm. It is going to work 100% of the time. 100% of the time. But this motherfucker getting long and I got shit to do. So go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our kids understand right now what the sympathetic mode is. Go do some research on that. It's in any science book you find or whatever, any anatomy and physiology book. Study sympathetic mode, study parasympathetic mode. Start paying attention to when your kids are in sympathetic mode and stop putting them in sympathetic mode. You feel me? Without teaching them how to regulate their nervous system to put themselves back in parasympathetic mode, which means you need to learn how to do the shit too. Because when you can master this, now you are in control of how the law of rhythm is going to play out in your life and their kids' lives, and they are able to maneuver within the life and the society that they must go into on a regular basis. The rhythm your child is on is going to be predicated upon their sympathetic mode. If we want to fight this beast, we have to understand these 12 laws. You're not going to pray this shit away. You can't cover yourself in the blood. None of this shit's going to work. All of that shit is just buffers to make sure the rhythm stays in place and to make it easier for you to fall into the sympathetic mode. That's why so many people, when the COVID hit, this is the last days of the last days, God coming back, this, that, and the 30. Still ain't here yet. Still ain't here yet. What happened? What happened? Allah didn't come back. Krishna didn't come back. Jesus didn't come back. Yeshua, Buddha, nothing came back because they used that to make sure you stay in a perpetual state of sympathetic mode to make the law of rhythm work how they need it to work every single time. Religion ain't what you think it is, but it's used to make sure that you are bound to the sympathetic mode of your nervous system, because your nervous system is your soul. Go figure. But I'm going to go to end it there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.